live, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. For those joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. And of course, there are no classrooms right now. All of you guys are stuck at home, so we really appreciate you tuning in on YouTube to keep the learning going. Again, we are bringing over 100 programs this month of April, and happy April, everyone, featuring scientists, explorers, and amazing facilities around the globe. So today I want to note before we dive into that we are using the Slido app. So I will put this in the chat bar, but if you go to Slido and use the event code Toucan, you can take part in some live polling, live games, and ask questions, upvote your favorites, and we'll take those questions straight to Daniel. So we are joined in San Josecito, Costa Rica at the Toucan Rescue Ranch by Daniel, who's an educator there. And so we have featured a lot of sloths over the last couple of weeks, and we're going to give you your little sneak peek of sloths again, but we're also going to focus on the toucans, the macaws, the parrots, the beautiful birds that are at the rescue ranch. And so without further ado, let's dive in. I'm as excited as you guys are. Daniel, thanks so much for joining us today, and take it away.
All right, so hello guys, thank you for joining in. My name is Daniel. I'm a biologist and educator right here in Toucan Rescue Ranch. Just a bit of a background story. Toucan Rescue Ranch is a rescue center that it was founded by Leslie Howe and Jorge Murillo in 2004. So that was a while ago. First, Toucan Rescue Ranch, just like the name says, started to rescue toucans. And then in 2007, we received Millie, the first sloth. And after that, we've been receiving many animals. Today, we're gonna see quite a few, obviously sloths, so you can see them right now. We're gonna see macaws, parrots, and toucans really up close, and we're gonna talk about them. Just like I said, we're a rescue center, so our main goal is to rehabilitate and to release back into the wild. So we receive animals from black market trade, from electrocutions, for example, the sloths. The sloths, they get electrocuted in power lines. They also get attacked by dogs. You need to keep in mind that in Costa Rica, there are more than 1 million stray dogs going around in the streets and in the jungle. So there's definitely a problem. But yeah, we rescue many other things. We rescue owls, we rescue monkeys, an otter, many things from Costa Rica. Now we have a release program. The release program is one of the most important programs that we have because thanks to that program, we can release many of the animals that we have. That's our main goal, to release them back into the wild. We're gonna talk about this in detail a bit, in just a minute because with the sloths, we have a really good release program where we track them for 6 months. We also have a breeding program. So we reproduce some of the owls and some of the toucans. Today, we're gonna see the first toucans that we reproduced in here. And we also have an education program that you guys are part of this ed program. It's super important because 60% of all the animals that we receive, they're here because of people. So we need to teach pretty much everyone what can they do to help these animals in Costa Rica, but also from all over the world, just like you guys. So now I'm gonna talk about the sloths. Now these species that you can see right here are the two-toe sloths. Now in the ranch, we like to call them two-fingered. And it's because both species that we have in Costa Rica, the three and the two-toed, have 3 toes on the back. The difference is right there on the front. They have fingers that we like to call. So for us, it's a bit easier to call them two-fingered. Now, like I said, in Costa Rica, we have 2 species, and this is one of the most common, but they're definitely not the most famous. The most famous sloth is the 3-fingered. That is the one with a smile and the mask. If you've seen Zootopia, you've probably seen them. Those species can be found in lowlands, like in the Caribbean and the Pacific, while these guys can be found in both slopes, but also in the mountains. Right here in Toucan Rescue Ranch, we're in one of the highlands in the center of the country. So these guys can tolerate fairly cold temperatures, not as cold. It can drop in some occasions to 50 degrees Fahrenheit or to 6 degrees Celsius in some occasions. And these guys can tolerate those fairly cold temperatures. In comparison to other parts of the country where you can get as hot as 110 Fahrenheit or 42 degrees Celsius, like in the North Pacific of the country. Now, these species that we're seeing right now, the two-fingered, they're omnivores. This means that they eat insects, they eat lizards, they eat eggs, but they also eat a lot of leaves. So over here, we have some leaves. This is poro, and we have them ready over there. We have almendro as well and some flowers. That's what um, Lou is eating. So we have Lou, we have Suso, and we have Dopey over there sleeping. And these flowers are hibiscus flowers. The hibiscus flowers is kind of like the chocolate for them. You can actually make really good tea with this flower, and they love it. So we give them pretty much every day. As you can see, they're sharing. So Sharon is carrying. Um, and then the three finger sloth, that is one that we don't have right now. They're herbivores. They only eat leaves, and that's it. They're mostly specialized in one species, that is um, the guarumo tree. The guarumo tree is pretty much everywhere in the rainforest. But these guys have adapted to eat pretty much everything that they can. So they do eat other birds' eggs, which is a bit surprising for some people. Um, I know that they're really cute and all, which yeah, they are, but we need to remember that these guys, they're not good as pets. I know that it doesn't seem like it, but they can be fast and aggressive. So if you have one of these animals, not only you're taking them out of the wild, but you also have the risk of getting attacked. So these guys can get quite fast, especially when they're threatened by a predator. For example, an ocelot or like an eagle. In Costa Rica, the main predator used to be the harp eagle, one of the biggest eagle in the world. But sadly, it's believed that it's almost locally extinct. That means that it's not found in Costa Rica anymore, but in other countries, yes. For example, the border between Panama and Colombia, and also in South America. They're really, really, really big. So yeah, these cats are, they have the predator, that is the ocelots, and they can defend themselves really, really good. Now, these guys are babies. They're between 5 to 6 months old, and they come here for many, many reasons. But the three main reasons are electrocutions. They get electrocuted from power lines, because power lines in the country, they're not isolated. So when they go to a power line, they get electrocuted. Also, they get attacked by dogs, just like I said, more than 1 million stray dogs in the country. And also, they get hit by cars because in Costa Rica, like any other country, there's a lot of roads. These guys, they cross the roads to move from place A to point B. And they get hit by cars because only in this country, people drive a bit crazy. Um, and so, yeah. Now, when they come here, they need to go through a whole process that it can take up to 2 years. That process we like to call preschool, elementary, high school, university. When they get to university is when they are released back into the wild. These guys, they are in elementary, so it's going to take them around a year and a half to be sent to our release site that is located in the Sarapiqui area in the Caribbean, where they're going to be released back into the wild. Now, they're in these tree. Well, there's actually like 3 trees, so there's like a bunch, because we want them to get used to being on the trees. I mean, these saws, they are arboreal, so they stay on the trees pretty much 98% of the time. So we need to teach them how to survive in there. We also have these ropes right here that resemble like vines. And right now it's not windy, but the last few weeks and months it's been really windy. And that's really good because the tree actually swings with the wind. So they get pretty much used to the movements of a normal tree. So when we release them, they're not gonna get like really scared or anything because they're gonna be already used to that. Now, the eyesight of a sloth is not really good. They cannot see like we do. They can see colors, but not in high definition, like we do, or like other animals. For example, like an ocelot, they're really really good at seeing, especially during the night. These guys, they mostly rely on the sense of smell and hearing. So they can hear me talking right now and they can smell pretty much everything that's around them. That's the reason why they found out that there was a flower right there, because they could smell the flower and there's like a bunch of flowers right there. So hopefully um, Lou will go there so he can eat some flowers. So yeah, now, over here we have Suso. So Suso is this one right here in the basket, eating some green beans and carrots. Now, this is Lou, and over there we have Dopey. So Dopey is the oldest, um, and we identify Lou because I don't know if you can see it really well because he's moving a lot, although he's a sloth. He has um, like a black thing on his nose that is complete normal. All right, so I think that we can move on to some questions regarding the sloths, and then we can go to see the macaws.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. So again, for those of you who are on channel one, I apologize for that. Welcome to channel two. We've got a bunch of people from a bunch of states and across Ontario so far. So if you guys want to start off with a few questions on sloths, go right ahead. And then we'll dive in with a few birds after the fact as well. So Carla wants to know how long, or Logan wants to know how long do they stay pregnant? How long do sloths gestate?
All right, so that's a great question. This species, the gestation period is 9 months. So just like us. Now, the three-fingered, that is the one with the smile and the mask, the gestation period is around like 11 months. So these guys is just like humans. Now, they, as you saw, they're a bit of a messy. They just grab a bean and they just toss it on the ground. They stay with the mom for 2 years. So they stay on the mom, like on the belly or on the back for a year, and then they will stay around the mom for another year. So that will be a total of 2 years plus the gestation period of 9 months.
Perfect. And then another question from Logan, actually, how old do sloths get?
All right. So these species, the two-fingered, they can live between 20 to 30 years. The three-fingered, only 15 to 20 years. So these guys, they live quite a long time.
Fantastic. All right. We've got the young family, and they want to know when you're talking to them and when you're talking around them, do they understand anything you're saying? Can they like respond to commands at all or not?
No, so that's actually really good for us because it definitely makes easier for us to rehabilitate them back into the wild. So they don't get imprinted into humans that easily. That still doesn't mean that we hug them or we grab them or we hold them because we don't. But yeah, they don't respond to any commands. The only reason why they will move towards us is if we have a flower or a leaf, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, they don't respond to any human calls or contact. They can actually get really stressed,
Yeah.
and they can even die if there's a lot of human contact or interaction.
Okay, good to know. This is something that we'll come back to later when we talk about pets and the pet trade. We're going to take two more questions and then we'll go dive in with our birds. So Jamon wants to know how long can they survive without food, or how often do they have to eat? Daniel?
All right, that's a great question. Now, these species of sloths, they eat every 3 to 4 hours. So I would say that they can survive up to a few days without any food. Now, that's regarding food. Water is a bit different. So sloths, they actually get the water from the food. So while they're eating, they get the water intake. And it's because sloths do not drink water in the wild because it's really risky for them to go to the ground. So yeah, I would say only a few days.
Perfect. All right. Ginger, so Miss Gary in Woodbury, Minnesota, wanted to ask, how do you take care of the ones that are electrocuted? Is there any special things that you do to help heal them?
Yes. So we have a fully equipped clinic in here on the ranch. In some occasions, we can use tilapia or skin to regenerate some parts of the face. For example, if they got electrocuted, that was one case with a three-finger saw that we had. Sadly, is not uncommon for us to amputate one arm or a limb. So what happens is that when a saw touches a power line, let's say with the left arm, then that left arm gets so badly injured that there's no way for us to rehabilitate our arm. So in some occasions, we do need to amputate them. So we need to remove the arm that got the shock. But although they get amputated and they're amputees, they survive in the wild. So we've been releasing amputees, so with our arm or with our limb, and they survive just fine in the wild. So thanks to the fully equipped clinic that we have, we can do that surgery and the survival rate can increase thanks to that clinic and the vets that we have.
Fantastic, Daniel. Well, again, I know we're getting our dose of adorable with the sloths, but let's go check out some of your amazing birds, and then we can come back to some maybe sloth questions later if anyone has any more.
All right, yeah, of course. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna walk over here. This is our rehabilitation area. We're gonna go to the other side in a minute to see the toucans. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna go inside of the enclosures of the macaws so we can see them a bit better. So just give me 1 second.
Take your time. While you're opening the gate, I'll highlight we've got a bunch of questions. There is a Slido for this presentation. So if you guys use the event code Toucan, you can type in questions there and I'll upvote your favorite ones and take some great questions later and do some polls when we're done with the live presentation. But here we go into the enclosure. How cool is this?
All right. So over here, guys, we have the scarlet macaws. So the scarlet macaws are one of the biggest macaws that we have, and even in the world. But in Costa Rica, we only have two species. We have the scarlet macaw and the great green macaw. The great green macaw is the biggest in the country. Sadly, this species is, although officially is considered least concern, meaning they're not threatened, there's some biologists and conservationists that actually claim, and I kind of agree with them, that they are endangered. And this is because people like to have these animals as pets. Um, so there's a lot of people, not only in Costa Rica, but pretty much all over the world, that take them out of the wild and put them in tiny little cages. That's actually the reason why most of these macaws that we have right here are here, because they were in the animal black market trade. So that means that they were pets for many years. Now, only a few days ago, we received these macaws. We actually received 6 macaws, and all of them were confiscated from a person that had him for 30 years in apparently in a tiny little cage. So in some occasions, you if you go to a rescue center or if you see any pictures, you will notice that some of the macaws, especially the ones that are rescued from the animal black market trade, they don't have the feathers on the chest, and it's because of the stress that they had, they pull the feathers out. So here, as you can see, these guys are really healthy. They have all the feathers, but sadly, there's some of them that they lost them because of that stress. Now, the macaws, they are mainly frugivorous. So this means that they eat pretty much fruits, but that's not their only diet. They eat nuts as well. They eat nuts, they eat seeds, and they also eat insects. There has been some biologists that have seen a really interesting behavior, and is the macaws going into the ground to eat some dirt and also some clay to get the minerals of that dirt. So that way they can complement their diet. Now, the macaws, regarding their population, they are, like I said, they are endangered. They're mostly found in the country, in the Pacific. About like 20 to 30 years ago, they were considered critically endangered. But now, thankfully, and well, thanks to some breeding programs, the population is going up. Not as fast as we hope for, but it's definitely a good sign that now there has been the macaws have been seen in many other places that years ago they were not there. So that's actually a really good news. And education, environmental education, just like you guys are participating in this live stream, people are realizing that having this type of animals is not okay. You know, they belong in the wild. They don't belong in a cage. And thanks to our education, now the black market trade with macaws is apparently going down, but sadly not significantly. So we are have a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah. Fantastic, Daniel. Well, again, what a great presentation getting to see the macaws and the sloths. Are you showing us anything else or are we diving in straight with Q&A?
No, we can actually go into the parrots. So so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go into the parrots and then I'm gonna walk to the other side of the property to see the toucans, and then we can start with the Q&A of all the birds. All right?
Amazing. Thank you so
If
much.
that's okay.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, let's see. These guys are usually nice. Okay, so here we have some parrots. Now, this species of parrots is the red lord. So in here we have 4 species. We have the red lord over there. We have the yellow nates. Over there we have the white-fronted and a mealy parrot that is somewhere around those bushes. So we're gonna focus on these guys. Now, all these species of parrots, they are frugivorous, so it's kind of like a macaw, but smaller. This means that they will eat fruits, but they can also eat nuts. They do also go into the ground to get some minerals, but not as often as the macaws. Now the parrots, they're sadly endangered, including these species. As you can hear, she's saying some stuff for us. Lorita. So sadly, they're critically endangered because of what he's doing. Now, people have them a lot because they can imitate pretty much everything that they hear. If they want to, they will imitate it. So that one over there is actually giving kisses. This one is making some noises. They also can say hola, that means hi in Spanish. They say Lorita care perro, dog-faced parrots. Some of the parrots that we have on the other side, they can actually wave with their feet. They can cry like a kid, which is a bit disturbing sometimes, but it's because since we receive kids on our tours, they imitate that. Also, they imitate the sounds that some phones make with like notifications, like beep boop, beep boop. So they imitate that. And as you can see, they are happy with the attention. So I don't know if you can see, but when they get excited, their pupils actually start to dilate. So that means that they're really excited and they love the attention. Oh, Lorita. They're saying hola, but really quietly. I think that they're a bit shy now. Maybe so many people. I was like, oh no.
This is great.
Yeah, that one is still giving kisses. Okay, so now I'm gonna walk all the way to the other side of the property so we can go and see toucans. So it's gonna take me like 2 minutes because it's on the other side.
Perfect. Well, so while you're walking, I'll just keep a few notes for the people watching home. First of all, thank you guys. We've got a whole bunch of states and provinces represented today, so we really appreciate you tuning in on YouTube. Again, for those who are interested, we are using the Slido app. So I've linked it in the chat bar a few times now. Just go to Slido on Google, use the event code Toucan. You can type in questions and take part in our game. In fact, actually, I'm going to open our quiz right now. So for everyone on Slido, you can do our quiz, take part, and we'll announce the winner at the end as well. So I'll just click that on right now and start the quiz. Enjoy, guys. And yeah, if you guys are interested in more of the Toucan Rescue Ranch, we have been featuring their sloths heavily over the last couple of weeks. So if you want to learn more about them, check out some of our past sessions. They're a really fantastic organization. We're also linking to their website in the chat bar and in the comment section. So if you guys want to learn more about the Toucan Rescue Ranch, all they do, find out how you can contribute to their efforts, check that out. Easy site, toucanrescueranch.org. So check that out at home, and we really appreciate you doing that because we like giving back to conservation organizations doing great stuff like the Rescue Ranch. This is so exciting. For me, we've done, I guess, 10, 15 sessions of the Rescue Ranch. I've never been involved in one highlighting macaws, parrots, and toucans. So this is a real treat, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are. Please do type in questions in Slido. Let me know where you're joining from. Type in questions on YouTube as well, and we'll take as many as we can once we've done exploring our third bird friend today. So here we are. Looks like Daniel's made it to toucans. Take it away.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is that I'm just moving that toucan because he gets a bit scared, and I'm just gonna go in to see the toucan that is on the bench. So just give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. All right, so here we have our first toucan. So this one right here is a kill-bill toucan. Let me see if I can chase him a bit. He's eating some papaya. So this is what we give him. Papaya and toucan pellets are full of protein. So this species is the rainbow beak or the kill-bill. That's a more known name for them. Let's see, we'll eat more papaya. Now, in Costa Rica, we have 6 species of toucan. This is definitely the most famous of all the toucans. And mostly famous not only because of the colors, but also the animal black market trade. So a lot of people have them in houses because they're really cute and everything. But just like any other animals, especially wildlife, they belong in the wild. Now, I know that probably you guys have seen toucan some in the Fruit Loops, but And apparently it's kind of like advertised that toucans only eat fruits, but no. Actually, toucans are omnivores. This means that they will eat insects, lizards, even snakes. They can also eat frogs and other birds and other birds' eggs. Let me see if I can get a bit closer to it. There you go. Hello, do you want to say hi? Now, this toucan right here is Tucanita. Tucanita, sadly, she was a pet. That's the reason why she's really social. And she doesn't mind us being or getting too close to her. Now, the toucan's beak is amazing. Now, they don't only need it or use it for eating. They also use it as thermal regulators. So their beak is made out of keratin, just like our nails. So if you go ahead and touch your nail right now, that's exactly how it feels the beak of a toucan. It's quite soft. Now, like I said, they use it not only for eating, but to regulate the temperatures. So when they're hot, what they would do is that they will open that beak, and that way they can cool down. It's cold, which is rarely the case in the country. They will put their beak under the wings, so that way they heat up. Now, their noise or the sound that they make is a really interesting frog. So if you ever come to Costa Rica or to Latin America, and if you hear a frog, a really loud frog in the middle of the day, maybe take a look on the top of the trees. You might be able to see a toucan. So it's amazing how they sound like a frog. Now, the beak, although it's made of keratin, just like our nails, that doesn't mean that it grows back like our nails. There was a case in the country where someone sadly cut the beak of one of the toucans, but the rescue center that received them built a 3D printed beak just for him. And it's because they don't grow that beak back. So it's definitely an amazing part of their body. Now, regarding the colors, we don't know. Oh, here we go. He goes singing. Just like a frog. So the colors of the beak, we don't know why they have it. We know that they get it from protein. So when we receive animals that were pets or that were confiscated from other people, they come here sometimes with really pale colors. And it's because people don't give them the protein that they need. So we know they get it from protein, the colors, but we don't know why they have it. There are some people that say that it's for camouflage. I strongly disagree because they're really bright. There are other people that say that is the male trying to attract the female. But the thing is that both the male and the females look the same. They don't have something that we call sexual dimorphism. So they look the same. It's not like Quetzal, for example, that the male is really, really beautiful, and the females, they should not. The reason why birds, the males are really bright is so they can attract the females. And the reason why the females in the wild, they're pale, like brown, is because the females are the ones that are going to sit on the nest. So they need to stay camouflaged in the nest, taking care of those eggs. Wow, it's being really chatty today.
So beautiful.
All right, so if you want to, we can start with the Q&A.
Sure. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for an amazing tour, and hello to our chatty toucan friend today. All right, I lied earlier. We're going to start the Slido quiz now. So in about 10 seconds, I'll start it live for our 6 participants. You guys can check it out. And we'll start with questions. So let's start the quiz for anyone who's playing along. And we'll start with the first question from a bunch of people, Daniel. Do these birds lay eggs? And how many do they lay?
All right, yes, they do. They actually lay around 3 to 4 eggs. Now, over there we have nests, because our breeding program is obviously where we reproduce them and then we release them back into the wild. So we had the case of babies being born in here. So yeah, they do lay eggs at around 3 to 4. And of those 3 to 4 eggs, only 2 to 3 chicks hatch.
Fantastic. All right. A question we get a lot, certainly with regards to parrots. Abigail wants to know, how long do parrots live for?
Right, that's a really good question. The parrots and the macaws can live up to 80 years, which is a long time. So people that have them as pets, they don't realize the long-term commitment that this is. So yeah, they live a long time. Sometimes they can actually outlive their owners when they're in a house or in captivity.
All right, perfect. We got a question from Wilson who wants to know what's the toucan's favorite food?
Right. So the toucans pretty much eat anything in the wild. They eat from fruits that are in the most common tree that is the guarumo. They also like a lot of fruits, and they also like eggs. So I would say that eggs is one of the most favorite food that they have. In the ranch, though, just like I showed you a minute ago, their favorite fruit in here is papaya. So in the ranch, we use half a ton of papaya each week, and that's what they eat the most. But we also give them herbal eggs that they eat as a protein intake.
Fantastic. Again,
So
what
there
a
you go.
vocal bird. Whenever it's with live animals, you never know what's going to happen. And this has been amazing today. So thank you so much, Daniel. All right. What do we got? Jacob wants to know how many species are there in the world? How many different kinds of toucan or parrot? You can answer for both.
All right, so birds, to be honest, I don't know, but toucans are around 14 species. Now, although that number is set, sometimes some of these species can be broken too. Um, so there's around like 14 species and way more subspecies. Subspecies means that is, for example, this toucan, but there's a different variety, if you want to call it like that, in South America, for example.
Outstanding. And again, I'm going to pass along resources for the Toucan Rescue Ranch in the chat bar. So look for that to learn more about all the amazing animals they have on site there as well. I want to note that Leah won our quiz on Slido. So congratulations to her. 5 out of 5 in 59 seconds. Way to go. So we're going to take a question from the Young family now. They always ask this question. I always love it. Daniel, what is your favorite part of your job?
That's a great. So my favorite part of my job is not only to educate, but also to feed the animals. We play, if you want to call it that, although it's not the right term, but we play with the food. By me saying playing with the food is that we try different diets. So sometimes we try berries that we have in the ranch. Sometimes we use a different fruits that we haven't used. It is always really interesting to see the animals always like looking at the new food and see what it is. And yeah, just working with the animals, rescue them. And also one of my favorite parts is release them back into the wild, because when we receive an animal that it got injured, for example, and then after a few months of recovery, and then we see them flying away or in the trees, I can tell you that is the most rewarding part of our job.
I bet. We also work with a turtle hospital in Florida, and they say the exact same thing. Getting to put animals back into the wild where they belong is the coolest thing you can possibly do. Very cool, Daniel. All right, Leah wants to ask a good question, which is, what is the difference between parrots and macaws?
All right, that's a really good question. Now, parrots and macaws are in different families. Now, one of the main big differences is their size. So macaws like there's two species of macaws we have, the scarlet macaw and the great green macaws. Their size can be even double, if not triple, of some of the parrots. So uh, you have the parakeets and the macaws. Like I said, most of the difference is their size, because their diet and in some occasions their distribution can be the same.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Daniel. All right. We have a question from Alexis, and that is, how fast do toucans fly? Do you know?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, kind of like got off.
Yeah, we're just a little bit of connectivity issue, but that's okay. The question is, how fast do toucans fly?
Right. So toucans, they don't fly too long. They can fly up to 200 to 300 meters. And it's because that beak, that although it's quite light, it still mess around with their flight. So they do not migrate like other birds. So they move between 100 to 2 to even 300 meters each. So they go 300 meters to a tree, they rest, they go into another one, and so on and so on and so on.
Very cool. All right, Daniel, we're going to take a couple more questions before we wrap up. Back to sloths for a second from Alex. How far do sloths travel in a day? This is a classically super slow animal. How far are they moving every single day?
So sloths, they can actually, in some occasions, for example, let me see if I can, oh, there you go. They can move up to 1 kilometer, that it can be almost a mile in some occasions. So although, yes, they're really slow, they can move fast, and they have a wide radius. They don't have a wide radius compared to the ocelot, for example. They can travel miles in just one day. But yeah, 1 mile is actually long if you consider how slow they can be.
Yeah, I sure think so. That's very cool. All right, we're going to wrap up with some conservation queries. So these are beautiful animals. They're very cute. Everyone thinks the sloths are adorable. The birds are beautiful. Are these animals that people should have as pets at home or not, and why?
Not at all. Now, the reason why we receive so many animals is because people have them as pets. And I know and I understand that they're really cute and amazing to see, but there are many ways that you can do to see an animal up close. You can go to some countries, for example, in Costa Rica, or rescue centers, so you can see them up close. But these animals are meant to be in the wild. So in some occasions, people actually don't know their diet. So they have them in tiny little cage, like what happened to Lorita, that is one of the parrots. And she was kept 30 years in a tiny cage where she couldn't even really move. And although if you have them in big spaces, they need to be able to fly and to move, and also to eat a wild diet. So they come here with malnutrition, they come here really stressed. So these animals belong in the wild. They do not belong in any cages. And like I said, there are many ways that you can do if you want to see a wild animal up close, like rescue centers in your area, or if you have the chance ever to go to a tropical country where you can do like bird watching or tours where you can see them a bit better.
Outstanding. So before we wrap up with one last question, I just want to note on Slido right now and on YouTube, let me know what word jumps to mind when you think of toucans and parrots and macaws, all these beautiful birds you've seen today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But before we wrap up, Daniel, what can people do at home? So for all the people tuning in from across Canada and the US, what can they do at home right now to help contribute to saving things like parrots, macaws, sloths, all the amazing wildlife you guys work with every day?
Yes, so that's a great question. Now, there's many things that you can do, from sharing on social media projects like ours, or like this events, so people can get educated. Education is one of the most important tools that we have in conservation. So sharing it with your friends, sharing with your family, talk about them, what you learned today, that these animals belong in the wild. um, there are also many fundraisers, not only with us but with many other conservation projects. You can also symbolically adopt animals in Toucan Rescue Ranch. um, but yeah, like I said, is sharing this thing, like all this knowledge that you just got today, and sharing conservation efforts, they make such a huge impact, because you're not only sharing with one person. If you share with one family member, that family member will share with another person, and it creates this massive chain um, of knowledge and conservation that is just priceless. So yeah, just sharing all the things that you have learned, and if you see any conservation projects in your area, go and support them and share what they do.
Amazing. Well, I don't think we're going to have any trouble convincing people who tuned in today to do this. All the words we're getting online are amazing, colorful, beautiful, spectacular. Like, this was a really fantastic presentation, Daniel. And so thank you so much for joining us today all the way in Costa Rica. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining. It was a pleasure.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day. To all our people tuning in on YouTube, again, 100 sessions coming in April. So check us out every single day. We're having all sorts of great programs, and we will be back with the Toucan Rescue Ranch for even more great stories. For now, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.